Let me ask you a question really quick. Who's the most emblematic video game character you can think of? If you even said something along the lines of Mario, Snake, Kratos, Master Chief, or Nathan Drake, that means that you and I think alike. But if you once said the Dragonborn or the freaking Lone Wanderer, well, I might as well stop the video right here. No, but seriously, I read a comment on Reddit that really caught my eye. In this comment, the Reddit user was stating or playing a predefined character, in this case it was Adam Jensen from Deus Ex 3 and 4, would sometimes turn him off the game. And it made me wonder what I loved more, personally. Creating a character from scratch, or playing the one that the developers cautiously made for me. I also asked this question to a YouTube buddy of mine, Kevin, and although his answer didn't surprise me, it made me think even more. And I hadn't thought that much in months, that shit's fucking painful, dude. But still, I managed to come to a conclusion, and even though I like to consider myself as a somewhat creative lad, the more I think about it, the more I would choose a predefined character over a custom one in most situations. The main reason for that is pretty simple and is directly connected to the question I asked you at the beginning of the video. No custom characters could ever become as iconic as the ones cited before. I'm sure that everyone could agree that the quality of a character depends largely on the quality of the story they take part in and of the universe in which this story unfolds. But video games are more complex than movies, and the graphics, the voice acting, and most importantly the game design are all factors that needs to be taken into account. And for a developer, choosing to make a game with a customizable character is probably similar to painting a portrait while being blindfolded. It's really fucking hard, man. I mean, the story, the quests, the gameplay, all of these things depend on the main character that you're working with. But if the player is given the freedom to fully customize his character, it means that the game that you're creating is lacking a very important constant, and that you have to work around it. So, the story even needs to not be centered around the main character like in Oblivion, or to purposely avoid anything that's related to the past and the personality of the main character, like in Skyrim for example. The obvious main reason to give to the players a way for them to create their own character is to enable roleplay as much as possible. But one of the main focus of roleplay is immersion. The problem with a non-predefined character is that it's very hard not to break immersion. You want the players to be able to give their character a past, some skills, and a personality that won't be in contradiction at all with the overall story and design of the game. You also have to make choices that don't always have any good answer. For example, voice acting can help with immersion, but if the voice doesn't fit the character, it can also easily break it. I mean, Fallout 4 got hugely shit on for this exact issue, among many. But if you choose to make the players play a well-designed, defined character, you can easily work around it. In this situation, you're certain that the story, the universe, the game design, the voice acting all fit and work well together. Everything makes sense, and thanks to that you enable the player's suspension of disbelief. Because you're allowed to believe in this piece of fiction, everything in the game having been cautiously built to make it believable, immersion is easier to reach than with a custom but out-of-place character. But there are a few ways to take the better of both worlds and allow the players to customize the character to a certain degree while not risking of breaking immersion in any way. The easiest way for me to explain that is to take a couple examples. In Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the players can fully customize the character at the beginning of the game. Gender, appearance, fighting style, etc, etc. But the main character still is an integral part of the universe, and no matter what choices the players make, it will always remain plausible and immersive, because the main character has a past, a future, and an overall backstory that gives lots of freedom to the players when it comes to customization, while not taking away too much on the narrative side. But Dragon Age Origins is probably one of the best examples of how you can give full customization of the main character to the player without having much of the downsides of it. The player can not only customize the character but also their background. At the end of the character creation screen, you're given a choice of background. These backstories are in reality playable preludes, which depends on your race, gender and class, and in which you have to make choices that will have an impact throughout the entire game. This background system and the excellent writing of the game, in which everything makes sense because there are no filler quests and dialogues, are the reasons why this game almost perfectly encapsulates what it means to take the best of both worlds: customizable character and immersive story. If you watched all the way through, thank you. It means a lot. But it would have never been possible to make this video if not for Kevin. By the way, he made a video about the same subject but taking the other side of the debate, and how he thinks that custom characters are better overall. You should definitely check it out and all of his other videos, and maybe even consider subscribing. It's top quality guaranteed. See you next time.